Hi guys, Roxanne here from Tiny Home Living. Well, it's time for a little update. I have not been doing a lot of recording because I'm just kind of going crazy here. As you can see, I am in the greenhouse slash sewing room. I've actually numbered them. That's 1, that's 5, 4, 3, 2. The hope was that this room over here would get done this year. It's not looking good. I have so many sewing projects on the go. This was supposed to be a white slip. Not working out too well on the bodice part, the v-neck. Taking in a linen dress. Fix some jeans. Trying to put a ponytail thingy hole at the back of this sun hat so I can wear one, because I can't wear one because my ponytail's so fat. Anyway, my stuff is so slow, and I have planted a lot of my peppers and everything 3 times, and they're finally coming up. Both of my cucumbers died, and now the new ones I planted are coming up. Don't know what that's all about. Getting a little dry in here again. I am experimenting with electro something culture. It's supposed to pull energy from the earth, kind of like a Tesla, idea. Anyway, the plan is to have tomatoes and every color of pepper, lettuce in here this winter. Some of these are the ones Rita gave me. They're doing fantastic. I actually brought some plantain in when I was digging up weeds, because this can actually be good on burns and stuff, stings, that kind of thing. The lime trees, as I said, are doing good. They're still doing good. Oh, might have watered this one too much. Looks like the leaves are going to fall off again. Gonna try and bring a lemon tree back to life. Yeah, we'll see. This was the dead Honeycrisp, dead Honeycrisp tree, and I am going to put a rooter pot on that too once it gets big enough. So anyway, lots going on in here. Well, sort of lots, but not really. I planted jalapenos 3 times, and I finally have an itsy bitsy little tiny jalapeno coming up. So the ones that are coming up now, of course, are going crazy, and I'll have way too many, but that's better than not enough, I guess. So yeah, my new organic cucumbers are coming up. This is cantaloupes. I'm not even going to try and plant them outside this year because we just do not have a long enough season to get cantaloupes in Alberta. Mine were just about there last year, and we had a warm fall, and they all ended up freezing on the vine. So you can see how healthy these are, and I'm actually going to have to get a tomato cage in here pretty quick. They've really sprouted up in the last few days. All of these bins, if you'll remember, have the soil that we got last year, and nothing grew well in these pots. Well, there's still some of that dirt in most of these pots, and what I've done is added this organic stuff from Costco to the top to get the seeds to start in them. But I don't know if that's why, things aren't doing well in these pots, or it could be that we didn't put a clear roof in. I mean, it could be that too. This is green onions, celery. These were tomatoes that sprouted up in that bin from tomatoes that dropped off the vine last year. So they must have been organic, otherwise they would be sterile seeds. So I just planted them in here. I was going to do something else, but whatever. The Italian oregano isn't looking the greatest, but I see some new shoots coming up in the middle. Rosemary, sage, thyme, and finally, after 3 tries and different seeds, I think these ones were West Coast seeds, I finally have some basil coming up. I mean, you can't live without basil, for Pete's sake. So anyway, I don't even know where to begin. We need to get the openings cut for the other side of the tiny house, but of course these will have to get closed up, put away, and all the crap from in there piled out here. I was just saying to my friend, I feel like I'm running against the wind all the time. Anyway, let's go see what's going on in the rest of the homestead. That's a new lilac bush. All of the evergreens have had a fantastic year. And actually everything on the homestead, I don't really know why though. It's been a cool, very cool spring. We had a late frost like in June. I've weeded this garden. I haven't got, that's actually weeds over there. Yes, that is not a crop. And I've had to start again over at this side. So you can see where I left off. I got the onions weeded. There are butternut squash in here, and thankfully you can really see them now. So now I have to pick all these weeds around here. This is just insane. This is where the straw was, of course, and that's why the weeds are so bad. Now this row, you really have to look, but there's beets in this row. There's some more, so we have to pick all the weeds around them and try not to pull them out. I thought there was, oh yeah, there is something. I think this is either my zucchini or cucumbers. Not sure yet. And thistles, 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 and more thistles. Oh my goodness. At least they come out easy because the soil is so fluffy, and now that it rained again, it comes out really easy. Now look at this nightmare. I had either cucumbers or zucchini in this row, whatever is the opposite of that. So I come out here, well, I can't even estimate how many hours I've spent weeding this nightmare, because the whole thing was like this whole bed. So obviously next year we are going to be doing something different. We're putting raised beds in here. The bending down and the silliness, I use this as a stool, and I sit on the bucket and inch my way along to weed this. Now the good thing is this is pigweed, and we put pails of it in the meat bird run because it's really bare in there now, and they love it. So they get to pig out on the weeds, and pigweed, haha, I made a funny. So they get to pick out on the weeds. I have paint for the greenhouse, got to get that done. Got to get the chicken, the rest of the chicken coop painted. Oh, got to get the generator shed painted. So much to do. We're actually taking these skids apart, the pallets, to use the boards to line the chicken coop after we re-insulate it. I have to show you these insane meat birds. Look at them come running. If you come anywhere near the fence, they think they're gonna get either grass or food. It's not time for your second feed. And there are 5 turkeys in there. You can see the taller guys. They're starting to get that ugly red thing around their neck. We lost a huge amount of meat birds this year as chicks. It's a province-wide problem, a nursery, it's a hatchery problem. I put in bags and bags and bags and bags of grass here yesterday for them, and they love it. I use the bag on the little lawnmower so that they have treats. So I almost died out here yesterday mowing this stuff. And of course my shoulder gets sore, so I can't get the, oh my goodness, look at those filthy heathen chickens. Oh, I was just saying to Chris, I think they've been scratching around these new haskaps because the roots are showing. Go on. Oh, you filthy animals, get out of here. See, the roots are showing. I'm gonna put a little bit more dirt around these, but then of course, get out of here, Chrissy. Go on, bad girl, get. Oh. No, you guys, get. Oh my goodness. I think we're gonna end up having to fence in the whole orchard. This is crazy. Get out of here, Chrissy. Go on, bad girl, get. Anyway, these are the new haskaps. You can see all the lighter green on them. They've grown so much. These were such healthy plants. Really happy about these. We had a lot of berries on these, and I think I should have put nets on them because I think the birds are getting them. There's some underneath, not much. So here we are with the biggest, it's not very big, But the biggest and the most gooseberries I've ever had, and I don't know if those heathen chickens, look at, there's a broken branch too. That might have been me mowing. I do get a little wild and crazy. But yeah, these 4 bushes, once they're a little more mature, are going to give me a lot of gooseberries. I think the birds are getting all my haskaps. So I'm going to have to get nets for next year. They're growing, they're healthy, they had tons of blossoms. So I guess all I can do is hope for a better year next year. At least we didn't get drought and they haven't all dried out and died. I guess that's what we need to be grateful for. But you can see they've been scratching in here too. So they must be coming and eating the berries if they're scratching out here. So I think I'm going to get some more rhubarb yet this year. Any rhubarb I've gotten, I've put in pies and put the pies in the freezer. So no apples from stick tree. This tree I honestly thought was dead. I guess I'll call it half tree. Still mad at myself for not putting a rooter pot on this branch last year that I lopped off. Because it was as tall as the top part, so I was trying to establish a leader. Really dumb. Really, really dumb. But this one we thought was dead. We were going to dig it up and take it back to the nursery. I pruned it and it got blossoms about 2 or 3 days after I pruned it. So I'm going to get more rooter pots from Lee Valley. Mine were old and the plastic is brittle. And what I'm going to do is let these get a little bigger and I'm going to put rooter pots on those. Rooter pots on... Now this was just one of those little shoots, like over there. And look at it, it's like an actual tree now. So I'm going to put a rooter pot on the second one. And then I'm going to put rooter pots on this Gloria tree. This is the one that has the little apples that make the juice pink and makes my apple jelly so nice. So I'll take 3 or 4 big ones off of there and let the rest grow into another tree. This is the new tree, not looking really great, but this is a really dry corner of the orchard. This cherry tree is absolutely loaded with cherries. Chris takes this little fence off when he mows here, and the chickens were all eating the cherries yesterday. He thinks that's funny. I do not. I already washed this. The aphids are going on the ends of the branches, so you have to use a high pressure on the hose and clean those off. I'll have to do that again. But again, new growth on every single branch. So exciting. And that tree sort of, if you look at the trunk, I pruned a lot of the little stuff out and it sort of divided into 2 trees. So it should be good in the future. This cherry tree, we got the odd cherry, very little, but amazing growth, amazingly healthy and new growth. I think I may have shocked it by taking this branch off last year, and I still wasn't happy with the root ball on that. So I'm trying to revive it by using this electro culture, whatever. We'll see. The thing is, I had this in the greenhouse. It was covered in blossoms, you saw in an earlier video, and I put it outside too soon, and we got that cold weather after the blossoms, so it pretty much killed it, I think. This is the best tree. This is the one that gives us the apples and I can't even believe the difference in like 2 days on this. I haven't gone through and selected the apples. Like, you basically have to go like this and get rid of the little ones so that the other ones get bigger and give you better fruit. So wherever there's a group, like that one's tiny, I barely touch it and it falls off too. So that way you don't have too much weight on the branches. Look at, there were clumps and clumps and clumps of blossoms. So I'll do this even better a little later. I have to get the ladder to get the very top off that tree and prune that, but you can see why I'm calling it the half tree. So yeah, look at some of them are just huge already. So if we take those off, then the energy goes to the fruit that's bigger. You see how these ones, you got 2 little tiny ones, get rid of those. So that leaves lots of little tiny apples on the ground for the chickens. There's a tiny one too. Take that one and that one out. This one's tiny. That one didn't even turn into an apple. So the thing is, this will be too much weight for the branches too. That one didn't even turn into an apple. That one didn't turn into an apple. So, and we came out and threw a blanket over this one too, and that was hard because it's getting tall. But yeah, this, I'll go through it a little bit more in a couple of days because we just had a real nice rain again last night. Sometimes there's blossoms that didn't even turn into apples, so they can go. But look at, they're turning red already. This one's pretty tiny. So yeah, the ones that I take out of the rooter pots, I think are going to have to go out here behind the solar panel array. I guess we'll call it Orchard 2. But running out of room. The only problem with this ground here is there's so many shoots and roots from the tree line. It makes it really difficult to dig. Now here's my other nightmare. We took the fabric off here yesterday. We put the fabric down for the strawberries. Well, look at this. The thistles were pushing the fabric up off the ground, and only some of them are really dark green, like that thing, that tree. But now today I have to go through this bed and pull all these thistles. I did this row last night. So the strawberries should be ready, but this just didn't work. So I think the strawberries are going to have to go in a raised bed next year, because I mean, there were just too many weeds out here too. So anyway, so much weed pulling to do, and it's so hard on an old woman. But it's gonna get really warm for us, like 25 to 31 in the next couple of weeks. So I'm gonna try and get that bed done and some more in the big bed while it's cool today. I love doing it in this kind of weather. There's another shoot off the cherry tree that died, so I'm just gonna let that keep growing, and I'll get a tree out of it and maybe another rooter pot. Look at these things. They think every time you look at them that they're gonna get fed. No, you're not getting any more right now. So now off to the chicken coop. I'm trying really hard to get rid of these roosters. They all pick on Buddy, don't they, Buddy? And you're such a sweet boy. We can't get rid of you. So let's go to the chicken coop. Oh my goodness. Chris is trying to nap, and they do that all day long. Another good reason to get rid of some. Now, the babies. I have not been getting the eggs I should be getting, and I was sure these guys were laying somewhere else, and sure enough I found a spot right there. The barrel was up against the skids, and they were laying eggs out there, and I'm pretty sure there's another spot too. Did you leave an egg, sweetie? Oh, good girl. You did, didn't you? Oh, that's the inspector. These guys are missing too many feathers too because of too many roosters. So now these guys, I'm trying to think, are they 2 weeks or 3 weeks old? Aren't they beautiful? We lost one of these guys, that's it. So these are, there's 10 Americana, 10 speckled Sussex. These ones here are the speckled Sussex. The Americanas have the little fluffy cheeks. And then I have 6 buffs, I think, buff Orpingtons. And I'm glad I did decide to order some more layers this year, because we just lost another hen the day before yesterday. One of the older ones, the original ones. And I'm going to need some more layers. So these guys act like somebody's coming to kill them now, because half of these might be roosters. you know, I might only get another dozen laying hens. So, really hoping, that one there is pretty big too. Some of them are so huge compared to others that you almost can bet they're a rooster, I think. I need to spend some more time in here, because even just listening to my voice, they calm down in a little bit. They're all trying to get into the corner. I've wanted some buffs for a while, so I finally got some. I'm happy about that. And the speckled Sussex are the most likely to go broody, is what the book says, so the description. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll get 1 or 2 broody hens out of these guys. Oh my goodness, their food's out again too. Yeesh. Now, look at this. This is the corn that I started. You can see the ones that are the biggest, ends right about there, are the ones I started in the greenhouse. Now these ones were too, but I planted them at the edge of the garden and it doesn't really get tilled properly here, so that's okay. This is the plain yellow stuff, and I don't like it as much anyway. It's the ones that were really short last year. So now you are a weed. Now if you look closely, there might be, I don't know if that's grass or not, lots of clover. But these are doing just awesome. Of course the wind's blowing them all one way. But this is the honey and cream. This is the one we like the best. And we got the fences up just in time for the peas, and I did 3 rows of peas this year. I was just thinking yesterday, I said to Chris, I think we should just leave the fabric down this year and the fences, because we've done this for a few years now. We know we want lots and lots and lots of peas. This is beans in between, and again more beans in between, but they only half the row came up. This was spinach and is not doing well at all. So I might end up doing, if we leave this fabric down, just do garlic in the fall in this row, and that solves one problem and saves us a lot of time and energy. So I've just been going around and just tuck this in the other side so it basically weaves around the fence to get it started really well. These are the tomatoes that I actually started from seed, so they're doing just awesome, and now they're going to go absolutely crazy because we had another good rain last night. And there were some that had 2 come up in a hole, so what I did was I took them out and planted them in a hole that had no tomato come up. So yeah, and I did a lot of different kinds of tomatoes this year. Like we haven't even had to go along and pull these out of the holes because they did so well. Time to get out here and prune these. I pruned these big ones that Rita gave me once already, and look at them. Again, you can't even tell. And they're not that big, and they're already starting to get tomatoes. So this is pretty exciting. Just a really good timing of getting that heavy rain, and then days of sun, and then another heavy rain. I'm gonna have to take that fence down soon, maybe next week, and this, and then we get this opened up again. This is making me a little bit crazy. So that makes me crazy, that makes me crazy, that makes me crazy. Everything makes me crazy. This one, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get anything out of that, but there'll be lots of beans anyway with this row and the other row. Now the only thing is I do have to check and see if one's a bush bean, one's a pole bean, so we might have to put a fence up for one of them. I'll have to check on that. But we're sort of, you know, we're sort of getting a feel every year for what we want to plant, what we don't want to plant. We put this viney stuff over there. That was the initial plan. The cucumbers, pickling cucumbers, butternut squash, zucchini, you know, that kind of goes crazy and takes over everything. Well, the weed, I can't do the weed thing. I just can't do the weeding thing. no way. So Chris has already laid out a plan for the beds, raised beds, and so strawberries and things like that will go in the raised beds next year. Can't do that weeding. Just too old for that crap. This fabric is just a godsend.